Wednesday, 27th of May, 1914. Peeblesshire, Scotland. Welcome back to 39 Steps, everyone. We're in the moors. I sat down and took stock of my position. Oh joy. I realised that my vantage ground might be a reality trap. There was no cover for a tomtit in those bold green places. Observations from a hill. Found! My enemies had located me, and the next thing would be the cordon round me. I didn't know what force they could command, but I was certain it would be sufficient. Escape. The aeroplane had seen my bicycle, and would conclude that I would try to escape by road. A chance. There might be a chance on the moors to the right or left. We're going to ditch bike into the pea bogs. Excuse me. Squelch. Then I climbed to a knoll, which gave me a view of the two valleys. At other times I would have liked the place, but now it seemed to suffocate me. The free moorlands were prison walls, and the keen hill air was a breath of a dungeon. I tossed a coin, heads right, tails left. It's heads. Then I found the roadman.
Good day to you.
He looked at me with a fishy eye.
Confound the day I ever left the herding. There I was, my own master. Now I'm a slave to the government, tethered to the roadside with sair een in a back like a suckle.
The roadman. The man. He was a wild figure, about my size but much bent, with a week's beard on his chin and a pair of horn spectacles. The job. The blight of the road mender was a difficult one. Breaking up stones and laying them across miles of Scottish tracks was a tough job indeed.
Oh, mercy on me, my head's bursting.
My head's
I
bursting.
can't do it. The surveyor man just report me. I'm for my bed.
What is your trouble, may I ask?
His trouble was clear enough.
The trouble is that I'm no sober. Last night my daughter Maren was wadded, and the dance still four on the byre. Me and some other chiels sat down to the drinking, and here I am. Pity that I ever looked on the wine when it was red.
Sleep sounds like your best bet.
It's easy speaking. But I got a postcard yestreen saying that the new road surveyor would be round the day. He'll come and he'll no find me, or else he'll find me foo, and either way I'm a done man. I'll walk back to my bed and say I'm no wheel, but I doubt that'll no help me, for they ken my kind of no wheelness.
Then I had an inspiration.
Where's your house?
I was directed by a wavering finger to the cottage by the stream.
Well, back to your bed and sleep in peace. I'll take on your job for a bit and see the surveyor.
He stared at me blankly. Then, as the notion dawned on his fuddled brain, his face broke into the vacant drunkard smile.
Eh? Hey, you're the Billy. It'll be easy enough managed. I've finished that bingo stains, so you needn't chop any more for noon. Just take the barry and wheel enough metal for your own quarry down the road to make another bing the morn. My name's Alexander Turnbull, and I've been 7 year at the trade and 20 afore that herding in Leith and Water. My friends call me Eki, and Wales Specky, for I wear glasses in wake of the sight. Just you speak the surveyor fair and calm, sir, and he'll be well pleased. I'll be back midday.
I got half of that. I borrowed his spectacles and filthy old hat, stripped off waistcoat and collar, and gave him to carry home. I borrowed too the foul stump of a clay pipe as an extra property. He indicated my simple tasks, and without more ado, set off in an amble bedwards. Then I set to work to dress for the part. I opened the collar of my shirt. It was a vulgar blue and white checkered, such as ploughmen's wear, and revealed a neck as brown as any tinker's. I rubbed a good deal of dirt also into the sunburn of my cheeks. My boots did not satisfy me, but by dint of nicking among the stones, I reduced them to a granite-like surface, which marks roadman's foot gear. I broke one of my bootlaces and retied it on a clumsy knot, and loosened the other one that my thick grey socks bulged over the uppers. I bit and scraped my fingernails till the edges were all cracked and uneven. The men I was matched against would miss no detail. I rolled up my sleeves, and there was a forearm which might have been a blacksmith's, sunburnt and rough with old scars. A roadman's eyes would no doubt be little inflamed, so I contrived to get some dust in both of mine, and by a dint of vigorous rubbing produced a bleary effect. The sandwiches Sir Harry had given me had gone off with my coat, but the roadman's lunch, tied up in a red handkerchief, was at my disposal. I did up the bundle again and put the paper conspicuously beside it. On I went, trundling my loads of stone with a heavy step of the professional. Soon I grew warm, and the dust on my face changed to solid and abiding grit.
Are you Alexander Turnbull? I am the new County Road Surveyor. You live at Black Hawkfoot and have charge of the section from Laidlaw Byres to the Riggs. Good. A fair bit of road, Turnbull, and not badly engineered. A little soft about a mile off and the edges want cleaning. See you look after that. Good morning. You'll know me the next time you see me.
Clearly my get-up was good enough for the dreaded surveyor. Wednesday, 27th of May 1914, Peblshire, Scotland. Just about midday, a big car stole down the hill, glided past and drew up 100 yards beyond. Its 3 occupants descended as if to stretch their legs, and sauntered towards me. 2 of the men I had seen before from the window of the Galloway Inn. One lean, sharp, and dark, the other comfortable and smiling. The third had the look of a countryman, a vet perhaps, or a small farmer. He was dressed in ill-cut knickerbockers, and the eye in his head was as bright and wary as a hen.
Morning! That's a fine, easy job of yours.
I slowly and painfully straightened my back, after the roadman spat vigorously, manner of the low Scots, and regarded them steadily before replying.
There's real jobs, and there's better. I would rather have yours. Sitting all day on your hinderlands and egg cushions. It's you and your muckle cors that wreck my roads. If we all had our richts, you should be made to mend what you break.
Bright-eyed men were looking at the newspaper lying beside Turnbull's bundle.
I see you get your papers in good time.
Aye, in good time. Seeing that paper come out last Saturday, I'm just 6 days late.
He picked it up and glanced at the superscription and laid it down again.
You've a fine taste in boots. These were never made by a country shoemaker.
They were not. They were made in London. I got they through the gentleman that was here last year for the shooting. What was his name now?
I scratched a forgetful head.
Let us get on. This fellow is all right. Let us get on. This fellow is all right.
Did you see anyone pass early this morning? He might be on a bicycle or he might be on foot.
I very nearly fell into the trap and told the story of bicyclists hurrying past in the grey dawn.
Wasn't up very early. You see, my daughter was married last night, and we keeping it up late. I opened the house door about 7, and there was nobody on the road then. Since I come up here, there has just been the baker and the Rackhill herd, besides you gentlemen.
One of them gave me a cigar, which I smelled gingerly and stuck in Turnbull's bundle. They were out of sight in 3 minutes, and my heart leaped with an enormous relief. I went on wheeling my stones. It was as well, for 10 minutes later the car returned, one of the occupants waving a hand to me. Those drenchy left nothing to chance. I finished Turnbull's bread and cheese and pretty soon had finished the stones. The next step was what puzzled me. I had a notion that the cordon was still tight around the glen, and that if I walked in any direction I should meet with questions. Get out I must. No man's nerve could stand more than a day of being spied on. Then suddenly...
Excuse me. May I trouble you for a light?
By an amazing chance, I knew him. His name was Marmaduke Jopley, and he was an offence to creation. Marmaduke. Reputation. He was a sort of blood stockbroker. He did his business by toading eldest sons and rich young peers and foolish old ladies. He would crawl a mile on his belly to anything that had a title or a million. First meeting. I had business introduction to his firm when I came to London, and he is good enough to ask me to dinner at his club. There he showed off at a great rate, and pattered about his duchess till the snobbery of the creature turned me sick. I asked a man afterwards why nobody kicked him, and was told that Englishmen reverence the weaker sex. Anyhow, there he was, nattily dressed, in a fine new car, obviously on his way to visit some of his smart friends. He hadn't a clue who I was. Jump in.
Hello, Jopley. Well met, my lad.
Who the devil are you?
My name's Hannay, from Rhodesia, you remember?
Good God, the murderer!
Just so. And there'll be a second murder, my dear, if you don't do as I tell you. Give me that coat of yours, that cap too.
He did as bid, for he was blind with terror. Over my dirty trousers and vulgar shirt I put on his smart driving coat, which buttoned high at the top and thereby hid the deficiencies of my collar. I stuck the cap on my head and added his gloves to my get-up. The dusty roadman in a minute was transformed into one of the neatest motorists in Scotland. On Mr. Jopley's head I clapped Turnbull's unspeakable hat and told him to keep it there.
Now, my child, sit quite still and be a good boy. I mean you no harm. I'm only borrowing your car for an hour or two. But if you play me any tricks, and above all, if you open your mouth, as sure as there's a God above me, I'll wring your neck. Savvy?
Just don't hurt me.
I enjoyed that evening's ride. As the dark fell, I turned up the side glen into the unfrequented corner of the hills. Soon the villages were left behind, then the farms, and then even the wayside cottage. Here we stopped, and I obligingly reversed the car and restored to Mr. Jopley his belongings.
1,000 thanks. There's more use in you than I thought. Now be off and find the police.
I'll get you.
As I sat on the hillside, I reflected on the various kinds of crime I had now sampled. Contrary to the general belief, I was not a murderer, but I had become an unholy liar, a shameless impostor, and a highwayman with a marked taste for expensive motor cars.